Welcome back, everybody. Excited to give you a very juicy topic tonight. So Conscious Land presents how they control us with fear. So who is the they we're talking about here? Your government, but could also be your religion. You could also look at it like your parents. Basically anybody you give authority to. That is the they in this sequence, okay? And the fear, man. Well, us, the person, me, like you. But the fear, man, the fear. How do they make us fear? So fear is definitely a powerful emotion that humans have, and that we've used for a long time. The caveman used fear to survive. So definitely a necessary fear. But I think we need to draw a line in the sand as to where or how far we let fear get us. I think there's a lot of outside circumstances that try to influence our emotions through fear, and I think we need to be aware of that. So today I want to bring some of the awareness to you. So this is your self-help topic. Fear definitely necessary, like I said, but we should have, as a society, as a humanity, maybe post-industrial revolution, I'll say, we should have lost a lot of the fear that we had. We now have a more stable society. Food is generated easier. People have jobs and money, and it helped a lot. It wasn't such a threat, but certain people, and history definitely agrees with this statement, that certain people wanted more power, and they put fear on us. But it's our job to see that fear for what it truly is. Okay, so I have a quote, Stoic philosopher here, Seneca. I'm gonna find it, hold on. So, quote, the more things likely to frighten us, quote, there are more things likely to frighten us than to crush us. We suffer more often in imagination than reality. Hit the nail on the head, okay? You suffer more through your ego, your mind, than physically. You gotta watch out physically. Don't fall off the roof. Don't do certain things. Don't pull out in front of that car. There's certain fear that's definitely necessary still. But there's also unnecessary fear. Are you nervous to talk in front of a crowd or shoot a video? Are do you have fear that you can't accomplish the promotion that you're possibly given? Whatever. But today I'm also want to talk about the fear that is put on us by they. Okay, so they, anybody you give authority to. Okay, so if we're talking about governments, and if they're like this, then they're oppressive. Okay, oppressive governments like this in the past, often they have a grip on their people, their society, because or by putting out a problem, whether it's economic, financial, maybe a disease, whatever. They put out a problem, and then they say only the government can help solve this problem. Okay, so there's a fear, and they say the only solution to this fear is by them. Okay, so automatically the masses, just like history has shown, they manipulate through the masses. The masses listen in, and they give them the personal power. Okay, then when you're gripped by fear, your rational and your higher cognitive abilities shut down, making one easily manipulated by those that promise safety from that fear. So they give you a solution, you're scared into it, man. You do it. You're in. You're listening. Whatever it is. I thought I had another quote in here. So how do they control us necessarily? What's their strategies? A big one, the false flag. Okay, so the false flag definition. They deceive in such a way, operations appear as though they are being carried out by a certain group other than those who did it. Okay, so for example, my red team is going to do something over there that everybody's gonna see, and then say it was the blue team that did it, okay? And vice versa. People do this constantly, man. This is all over politics. Political supporter, straw man. They do something, say it's somebody, and then it's the opposite person. That is the false flag way about it. And people do it, or countries do it for different reasons. Sometimes they want to go into a war, and the people are like, why do we need to go to war with them? So they do something to then, here's our reason for going to war. It's a planned war. Sometimes if there's a transition, a downward transition in like a demographic situation, people want more power instead of the people having power. That's one way they do the false flag. They try to get that power back by tricking them into it. And they got to deceive that way. And, governments, I'd say like second world countries, I don't even know if that's a thing, like South American type, they, their power is dwindling. Citizens are kind of doing what they want. Crime is rampant. They induce fear. You see this a lot in China. They induce fear to make people step in line. Like you scare the crap out of them, they're gonna listen to you. So that's a big way. And I did some research. I definitely want to stay away from the the conspiracy theorist types, but I did some research and I saw that a beautiful example of this that was almost executed by the United States of America against Cuba in the 1960s. Okay, so Cold War era. The Americans were going to shoot down a civilian or a military plane and say it was Cuba, and that was going to be their reason to invade Cuba and take out Castro, because the communists had control of Cuba and America was threatened, so they were going to straw man Cuba. It wasn't executed though because JFK shut it down. A little while later, JFK was assassinated. Might play into something. Just a little story I thought. I found good evidence about it, so I wanted to talk about that. And when the straw man is thrown out there and you're not on the right side of that, that's where you get authoritarianism. Authoritarianism. Or you get intolerant, or you get xenophobic attitudes. Like you get mad, they're attacking your dudes, so then you want to come back at them, and then you got a war, and then that's what our country's at right now. We have a whole lot going on, and we just simply don't know the truth. In my opinion, I feel like a lot is kept from us. Okay, I don't know, a lot of potential false flags out there. I'm not gonna side with one side or the other because that's not what it is important at all. Okay, and then the other one, false flag is one, and then the other one is repetition. Okay, so repetition is prevalent propaganda used to solidify falsehood and perpetuate fear in public consciousness. Okay, so they repetitively give you something, give you a certain message. There was a lot of this going on in the 50s, I believe. They were talking about the hippies. The propaganda for the hippies were like, they looked like zombies. They had teeth that were like vampires and stuff. They were green, like fear the hippies. Don't smoke the devil's lettuce. That was like their slogan. And it puts fear into consciousness. Into the public consciousness. Like, society has its own ego, and if that ego is fear, there's a good chance that that's coming from the leaders, that they're putting that upon the masses. I got a really big quote here for you. Okay, so this is by Stanley Milgram. All right, quote: "The disappearance of a sense of responsibility is the most far-reaching consequence of submission to authority." So the disappearance of a sense of responsibility for the self is the most far-reaching consequence of submission to authority. So giving your responsibility, I'm no longer responsible for myself. I give it to the government. They got you. They got you. That's basically what Stanley said. Beautiful quote. But it is safe to say that most of us can't change the world. We don't have that means at this time. There is a few people out there that will change the world, and that's great and that's necessary. But safe to say, most of us can't do that, okay? For whatever reason. But what we can do is be responsible for ourselves. If you're responsible for yourself, not so much of that fear is lived. And then these oppressive governments, they don't have that power anymore. So you take that power away from them, they die out, and then eventually you'll get it right. And I feel like the more the people are in charge, the more you'll have that, but you always got those big-headed egos that just want the power. You've seen it everywhere in history, man. Ignorance is root of misfortune by Plato. Pretty good quote for you. So what is to be done, man? Like, what are you supposed to do with this? I just laid all this out here, but what are you supposed to do? And my answer to that is build knowledge. Become a truth seeker. Strive for the truth. Unbiasedly look at the facts. Strive for the truth at the deepest core, not just the base value things. You got to look at the core of the truth. What is the truth? We're going to be talking about that in later episodes, but that's definitely the big thing, man. Ignorance is a root of misfortune. Don't be ignorant. That's what it is. Present day. Do we have this? Do we have this anywhere in the world right now? It's undeniable. Fear by those in power contributing to horrific events is easy to point out. It's easy to point out people in power doing horrific events. Whoever did it. Once it comes out, it is worth noting most of the societies or most of the countries that did these horrific events did not know that they were doing these horrific events. Okay? They are not aware of how bad it is. Sometimes they get a little iffy. They're like, ooh, I don't know if we should be doing this, but there's just little things. There's little things. I saw a very interesting, very long quote, and I did paraphrase because this was 3 pages. This was a 3-page quote, but I had to get some of it down. So, paraphrasing, each act, each occasion is worse than the last, but only a little worse. Okay, so it's a steady decline towards worse. All right, but so the people that are seeing this issue, this downgrade, they keep thinking that there's going to be the thing that wakes everybody up. Why are we all following this? There's going to be that straw that breaks the camel's back, but it never comes. It never comes. It never comes until it does, and it's too late. You see how far it's gotten. You're aware. Your sense of morality is destroyed. You're ashamed to the core. The self-deception is too large. One day it all collapses. Now you live in a world full of hate and fear. And people don't even know it. They don't even know that they're living with hate and fear in their heart, and they're being controlled by it. This is how they control us. They make us hate our neighbor. They make us fear our neighbor. They make us hate a certain group, a certain way of life, whatever is different from you, or really different from what they want you to be. That very interesting long quote was a book from written by Milton Meyer. It's called "They Thought They Were Free." It came out about the average civilian Nazi in Germany. They saw the little things, but the little things were just prepping them. Every little thing, it got them more okay with the little things, like it's priming you to be okay with it, just these little things. They never have the big one that shows everybody, Definitely worth a read. I haven't read it yet, but it's definitely gonna be on the book list after I'm done. So that's all I had for you tonight. I appreciate everybody coming out to the YouTube page. Give me a subscribe there if you like the content. A lot more coming. I can't wait to bring you consistent content. I'm finally getting like under control with my things, and I had to take some time away to focus on myself and get right within. It's always getting right within before you can help others, man. And I feel like I'm getting there, so I am excited to take the next steps for Conscious Slam. Clients, definitely welcome. Reach out if you have some people that maybe mental issues, like mental health issues. They struggle with depression, anxiety, OCD. Maybe you need somebody to stay on top of you to keep you motivated, or to strategically plan for you, because that's where you're missing in your element. Maybe you lack purpose. Maybe you want to feel like you're doing something with your life for the better. Maybe you want a reason to go to work every day instead of just survival and pay your bills. Maybe you need to lose weight. Maybe you need to get better nutrition under you. We're also going to tackle that here at Conscious Slam. I want to hit all facets of self-help, relationships. I'm not real deep into that yet. That's going to come a little later, but, I could definitely help the singular part of the relationship, which is really what it's about. You have two halves of a relationship. If both people can focus on themselves and fix that, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So yeah, check out the website, ConsciousSlam.com. Big things happening with that. We're going to have a blog coming, maybe even an email list, so tune in for that. I'm going to continue to post on the Facebook and Instagram pages, but I think it's just going to be short snippets of the video. So, I'm trying to change a little bit. I got to evolve a little bit. I do want to filter people to my YouTube for this content, because I'm tired of trying to cram it in 10 minutes. That's just not realistic. I feel like this was kind of rushed. I do think this is a pretty good final product. I'll live with it. But video editing on the way. I'm gonna learn how to do that, because I feel like this is tough, man. It was tough to shoot this video. Longest video I ever shot. Watch the growth. Watch the growth. I appreciate y'all. Like, share, comment. Disagree, let's talk about it. Agree, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Peace.